Hey everyone, it's Brian here. So, how are you all doing? I'm hoping that you're well. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode and a very warm welcome. So, with everything that is going on right now in that family, it was inevitable that the tabloids were going to call on Harry and Meghan to come and save this family from this huge embarrassment because that is what happens every single time, right? So, I believe by now most of you know whatever is happening. That is with Prince Andrew, how he's been arrested and then he was also discharged. I don't know why. I believe this man should be locked up forever, together with every other person that was actually involved in those very heinous acts. But he was let go. But I hope justice is still going to be served. Anyway, that is one of the biggest embarrassments that the royal family is obviously facing right now. I don't know how they're going to get away from that. I don't know how they're going to remove themselves from this situation. But one thing I'm happy about is that they aren't going to be using the Sussexes this time round. They aren't going to deflect from all of that by throwing Harry and Meghan under the bus because the Sussexes are now far away and these people do not have access to them. Anyway, let me now show you what these people are actually saying. So there's this article from a media outlet that is called Nightly, and they wrote, well, the headline of the piece reads, why Meghan and Harry should return to the UK in light of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's arrest. Well, don't forget to call him Prince because not calling him Prince is just a way of detaching him from this family. He is still a prince. Now let's dive into what these people are really saying. That Meghan and Harry should return to the UK in light of Andrew's arrest? What do you mean? Return to do what exactly? Return for what reason? The Sussexes have no business in the UK. They do not have someone that they need to come and help in the UK. I mean, this entire family literally threw Harry and Meghan to the wolves in order to save people like Prince Andrew. They did the worst to Harry and Meghan for no reason at all. And now, when they are facing the most trouble, the tabloids are now like, Harry and Meghan, you should come to the UK and save this family. You should come in the midst of whatever is happening to them right now. But I say absolutely not. And I obviously know that Harry and Meghan aren't following up on this nonsense that the media is pushing out because they are so busy in California. I mean, take a look at Meghan and her projects, also Prince Harry and his Invictus Games and all of that. These two are so busy to even care about what the media has to say right now. But I know if they had time, they'd just sit down, sip some tea, and laugh because who thought this day would come when they would literally be begging the Sussexes to come over and help these other royals? For the longest time, they've been saying how the Sussexes need to stay in California. They don't need to ever come back to the UK. In fact, they were celebrating when Harry and Meghan left, and now they're like, Harry and Meghan, you need to come back in the midst of Prince Andrew's arrest. Well, to do what exactly? What exactly do they need Harry and Meghan to come and do? And let me just read you a few excerpts from this piece. So they're like, Prince Harry and Meghan, it's time to book your flights to the UK. That was literally the first statement. Book your flights to the UK. As if Harry and Meghan do not have a multi-million house in California that they are very comfortable in, raising their amazing kids and have a lot of projects to work on, that they just need to book a flight and come to the UK immediately. This is utter nonsense. And then they also say how if ever there was a time for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and his family to quietly return, for the Duke of Sussex and his family to quietly return to the royal fold, the weeks following arrest of his uncle Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is the time. Quietly, they're making it seem as though Prince Harry and Meghan have been begging to return to this family, to return to the royal fold, when it's the exact opposite. The Sussexes do not want anything to do with this family. They're very comfortable with their lives in California. So why would they quietly return to this family? In fact, Harry and Meghan have said several times that they do not want anything to do with that family. They are very comfortable with their lives in California. So I don't know why anyone would even suggest that Harry and Meghan need to come back. Then this author continues to say how there have been strong rumors that the couple are looking to repair their image with the British people they were so desperate to leave. Well, where did she hear this exactly? Because Harry and Meghan don't seem like they are begging to be accepted by anyone. If people were going to accept them, then they would from a very long time ago, seeing what they went through. In fact, I am a strong believer that people who have stuck with Harry and Meghan from the beginning have always done so, and those who hated them from the very beginning have also continued to do so. So there's no like people. I don't think there are people who are just going to change their minds all of a sudden because Harry and Meghan said this. Like, no, I don't think so. If they wanted to hate them, then they've always done that. And if anyone wanted to love them, then they are also doing that. And then in another part is where this author actually lets the cat out of the bag by saying, after the deaths of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, the cancer battles of King Charles and Princess Kate, the pool of full-time working royals is shallow. Then continued, Princess Kate alone has understandably undertaken just 68 royal engagements in 2025. Yeah, only 68 engagements throughout the entire year. How embarrassing is that? Then they continue to have the sparkle of two once likable young royals back on the beat would no doubt be a welcome addition to the royal roster of public engagements. You see, that is exactly what they want Harry and Meghan to come and do. Royal engagements, because the ones who are left in the UK aren't doing that. Kate is so lazy. William is so lazy. Like they barely can work. And the only time you see them outside is when the Sussexes are outside or when they need to distract from something that is happening to that family. Otherwise, the rest of the days they are locked up in their palaces. I don't know, God knows doing what. So now these papers are like, Harry and Meghan would be a better addition to this family so that they can carry out the royal engagements. Well, I thought William and Kate were so comfortable when Harry and Meghan left. I actually thought that was the thing they wanted to happen, for Harry and Meghan to leave. And now they're like, they need to come back because they need to be helpful to the royal family. Well, let's also be honest, there's literally no work that these people even do. They go out almost, okay, for those 65 days in a year engagements, and then they go wave at people, shake a few hands, pretend to be, I don't know, hands on, when literally there's just even nothing you can do that is substantial. So I don't see a reason for Harry and Meghan going there because they have already established themselves. And then in another part, she was like, while some may never forgive Harry and Meghan for the events of the past 7 years, in light of the events of the past week, Meghan and Harry whingings no longer seem like such a crime. Well, first of all, the Sussexes didn't do anything that was worth them being crucified the way they did. They just told their own story. And some people who took offense in all of that is because they knew the family was guilty of whatever Harry and Meghan said. And then this author finishes by saying, and it would be even harder to harbor such resentments for the Sussexes, given a return to the UK would afford their children, Archie and Lilibet, the chance to finally get to know their royal relatives. So it might be now or never for the Sussex family to book their flights back to the mother country. Just make sure this time it's not a private jet. No, but thank you. The Sussexes are very comfortable with their lives in California. They're very happy. And the people who are begging left, right, and center are obviously the UK media and all of these tabloids, because the ones whom they're left with in that country are not very, very sharp. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think about this. Then I'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye.